morning. My name is Mark Peters. I'm with Cardiac Science Corporation. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about automated external defibrillators, sudden cardiac arrest, and the importance of putting them into restaurants. This is something that I will be the first to say. It's new to the restaurant industry. I've been in several restaurants where I've seen them. I've been in banquet halls where they are, but I would say saturation rate is probably less than 5% when you look at it, and for good reason. These things are not cheap. They are somewhat expensive when you look at overall operating costs, but at the end of the day, when it comes to why they're necessary, I think that's the big important piece. So I'm going to go through the presentation and really discuss with you guys at length what it takes to have an AED, whether it be in your restaurant, your place of business, anywhere in the public where public may have access to one of these devices. One of the reasons I got into this industry is because of this young boy up here. His name was Greg Boyer. He was my best friend, and he died of sudden cardiac arrest at the age of 15 years old. He was one of those tragic incidents that you always hear about. He had what was called HCM, which was an enlarged heart. He was playing basketball. It was halftime of his game. There was no AED in the school, and he collapsed and died. Now, had there been an AED, he may have had a shot. But unfortunately, he had an undiagnosed condition that caused his heart to go into cardiac arrest, and I'll explain what that is, and that's why he's no longer here. Now, where my story gets more interesting is when I was 22 years old, I actually had a cardiac arrest myself. I had a cardiac arrest in a gym outside of Philadelphia. I was down for 14 minutes before anybody ever shocked me with a defibrillator, and I'm really living proof that these things work when you need them. So sudden cardiac arrest is the #1 killer in the United States. That's more than HIV, cancer, and handguns combined. It kills more people every year in this country than the top 3 other killers. It can be prevented, whether it be from advanced screening to figure out if you have a congenital defect, or from CPR and the use of an AED. When you look at response time of EMS in the state of New Jersey, it is on average 8 to 12 minutes. To give you a pretty scary statistic, for every minute that somebody's in cardiac arrest, you lose 10% capacity to come back to a normal sinus rhythm. Meaning, for every minute you're down, you have a 10% less chance to survive. Do the math, 8 to 12 minutes, no AED, nobody doing CPR. The chance of somebody surviving a cardiac arrest in your establishment is slim to none. I'll also tell you that laws in New Jersey have passed which give Good Samaritan status to anybody who uses an AED. So even if you're not trained in CPR or AED, you can physically grab one of these machines and use it and feel comfortable. That's how simple these things have become, and that's where the laws have gone to here in New Jersey. First thing you have to do, you have to understand what the law said. So in the state of New Jersey, really, the laws are simple. You need to have a medical director, which is a doctor that writes a prescription for your device. Believe it or not, an AED is a Class 2 medical device for the FDA and requires a prescription. Most people who die of a heart attack do not die from the heart attack. They die from the onset of the sudden cardiac arrest. If I'm in a bigger room, I usually ask everybody, raise your hand if you know somebody who had a heart attack. 99% of the room puts their hands up. The past 8 weekends, I have been out with my wife in public buildings. Every single building I have been in, I have seen an AED that's not working. It is physically hanging up on a wall, and the battery is dead or the pads are expired. You want to talk about liability? That's the biggest liability you could do. Doing the right thing and then not properly maintaining it. And you communicate in there all of the information to your staff members. And those staff members should know where the AED is. They should know their other colleagues who are trained. They should know how to use the AED and be trained. They should know how to maintain the AED in case you're not there. It's very simple to do, but this is where I run into the issue of people going to Amazon.com and buying a life-saving device. That's not the way you do it. The right way to do it is to have somebody consult you through the entire process. Because one way versus the right way, there's a lot that can go wrong in that spectrum. Think about your restaurant on a busy night. 120, 130, 150 patrons at any given time over the course of the night. You could have 500 to 700 people in and out of your restaurant. What's going to happen if one of those people go down? Statistically, guess what? There's a very good shot they may. And if you have an AED and you bought it 8, 9, 10 years ago, understand that when you make the commitment to get one of these devices, they have a lifespan. They do need to be replaced per the manufacturer's recommendations. It is a big commitment, but it's a commitment that if you use it just once and save a patron's life, they're never going to forget about it. Please feel free to reach out to myself or the City Fire Equipment Company. Thank you.